Good afternoon, Rajesh. So we will be continuing today with the Ansible Day 17 session today. Okay, and you remember like in the last session we had we completed the how to install the lamp right in the Ubuntu servers, right? So we installed it, right? So I refer to this link, and if you see the code, so basically this was the code actually which we had written to written to install the lamp stack. So in this we had installed the Apache as well as we installed the PHP models, right? But we didn't install the MySQL database or MySQL. We didn't install it actually because as I said earlier in the previous session that I will be showing you that in the when we are writing a Ansible roles actually. So in the Ansible roles I will be showing you how to install the MySQL. Correct. Now, in the last session, like we had little bit optimized, like for example, this service model, right? We had called twice, right? So once the copying of this PHP model into this path, right? After doing that, you remember like at the down, I was calling the service model again, and here also after installing the Apache, I was trying to call the same service model, right? But later, right, we optimize it. How we optimize it? We use this notify as well as a handler. So as I said, like in the earlier session, right, that by using notify and a handler, it has a no, it has a greater advantage than using the normal service calling directly the service model because like handlers are well, like you by using handlers, right, you will be avoiding recalling the handler again if there are no more any code change. Suppose assume that this copy model there are no more changes are there or there is no changes happen. It means already whatever the PHP info.php file which is in this path, if there is no change in this file, when you're copying a model, it try to verify if this file already exists or not. If this file exists with the same name and with the same content, then what happens? This copy model will never it will not get recopied again. Then in that case, this notify will never get called. So this notify will never get called means this handler will not be recalled it or it will never be called it or it will not be triggered. So in that case, it is an advantage that you will not be calling the model or you will not be calling the particular task again and again. So this will also save your execution time, right? So that is an advantage of having a handler, right? So now a question might come like, is there any way where you can still optimize the thing? Like for example, see here you could see that actually here in this case, right, you are using a list of PHP models. It means that for installing this all these models, we are using the item and the loop. You are just passing each and every time one parameter you are passing to this item variable, and the item variable what it will do that app model will try to install this model, right? So now the question comes: is there any way where we can still optimize certain things on this? Yes, you can do it. Like I'm not really expecting some new terminology here. So whatever we had discussed very long back, like for example, we had discussed something on variables. You remember variables we had discussed, right? So anything which is getting changed, right? Anything which is getting changed, convert into variables. Correct. So it means that can I call this the list in my host file or in my variable file? Yes, you can call it. Or else you can even call it under the host file also, right? Like for example, you have this host file. Here you know that see you are earlier you used to pass this, right? You used to pass this parameter, right? There in this case, right, you know, on which both these servers, you know that I have to call always I need to call this PHP model everything, right? Then in that case, what happened, right? You can go over here into your host file and you can even pass the parameter here also, like that. Now the stuff is that actually in when it comes to the host, actually, we have heard about so there's a host file is there, right? It is in any format, as well as the host file you can even in write in the YAML format also, which we saw in the last session, right? Like here, for example, like I'm into the Ansible server, right? I'm into the Ansible server now. Now here, if I get into the host file, you see that some of the concept which I have added maybe long back, right? I had added something like host was and the group was actually. So you can have the host was and the group var also, right? Like for example, like let me create one more directory, something like lamp directory. Okay, and let me copy this actually. Install lamp lamp2 hyphen ubuntu to the lamp directory. So I'll get into the lamp directory. Here you have that file actually which will install your lamp. So this we have seen it, right? Now here what happened that you are having this loop and you are passing so many parameters here like this, right? So now what will happen that let me copy the etc ansible host file here actually. So I copied it. If I and let me rename something for not to confuse like host as my host something and my host file. Okay, my host file will having this two IP address. You can even divide across these two IP address like this, right, into the groups actually. Like this is web server something, and this is something which belongs to your app server. Now, now what happened right here? You have a host file, but what happened right? You can there is one more way of passing a parameters or passing a variables uh, through the with the help of a group underscore vars and the host underscore vars. Like for example, here you have this my host file, right? So let me do one thing. Let me create a group underscore vars directory and host underscore vars directory. Okay. So now under the group underscore vars, because since we are using these two groups actually, right? You need to create with the same group name. You need to create under group vars. Like let me get into the group vars. So let me create a file with the name web server and app server. So here under the group underscore vars, you have created these two files actually, app server and web server. Similarly, if you come out from the group vars, the vars says that actually what are all the parameters which you want to pass to the particular group. Because here we are having only one IP address under this group. Okay, no doubt that this is a group actually, but here you are having only one group. Whatever the parameter you pass to this group, actually, it will be applicable to all the IP addresses which are there under that particular group. Similarly, we are having a app underscore server. App underscore server also will have so many IP addresses, but here I'm just having only one IP. So whatever the parameter which you pass here, right, it will be applicable to all the IP addresses which are under the app server. Correct, guys? So now, so what happened that in the group vars, if you get inside, let me clear the screen. In the group vars, you could see that I have created two files, app server and group and web server. Similarly, if you see the my host file, in the my host file, you are having this IP addresses. Correct, guys? So under the host vars, what I can do that I can create a files with this IP address as a name itself actually. So let me get into the host vars. Right here, I can use a tux command to create the name of the files with the IP addresses itself. This we call as a host var. So this is also one of the way to pass the parameter. Like for example, earlier how is to do that in your host file itself, that is like my host, you can pass the parameter, you can do many stuff, right? Now what happens is a new concept as a group underscore vars and host underscore vars are there. Through that way also, it is a better manageability. Why we have bought this group underscore vars and host underscore vars is that, but it is not. It's a better manageability. It means that you can better reorganize everything for passing any variables, everything with the help of the group underscore vars and host underscore vars. If you go to the industry, so rather than passing a parameter to your host file through the host file, so you could see that there are many sorry, there are many playbooks are there. You are passing a parameter with the help of this group underscore vars and the host underscore vars. So this is also very important, guys, and you should remember this. So for example, here, as I said, you said that Rajesh, hold a second, guys, just a second. Okay, sorry, guys, I got a call. So now here, what I was trying to tell you here that actually here you are passing these parameters as a parameter for the loops for this installing the PHP, right? So what I'm saying that instead of mentioning over here in your YAML file, can we mention the same stuff in your, like in your host file or in your variable files? Yes, you can do it. That's what I'm trying to tell here actually. So here, coming back to the servers here, so here you have host VATs. Under the host VATs, you are having the two files with the IP address of the host names itself. Okay. Now, because I am passing this parameters, that is none but the PHP models, right? I will try to do. I will just copy it actually, and I'll go to the servers. Here, what I will do that I will come out from here and I'll go to the group VATs. Under the group vars, I'm having an app server. Let me open that app server. Nothing is there because this file should be in a YAML format. It means that if you're opening a file and you want to pass that PHP as a parameter here, right? Like for example, it should be a YAML file. It means that you should have three hyphens here, and then something like you can say that PHP underscore packages, something like this packages, right? Colon and just paste it over here, whatever I have copied it here, right? So you could see that you are actually passing the parameter here. It means that instead of mentioning in the file, in the YAML file, here you are mentioning your group values actually, right? So now here what I will do, so I will save this file, I'll save this file. So under the app server, I think the same stuff will applicable to the web server also because I'm doing the same step even in the other server also, which is part of the web server group. I need to go to the web server, and here also I have to just paste the same stuff actually like this. So you could see that I'm using the variable by name. I'm using something like PHP underscore packages. So what I will do here, I will go back to the playbook file. So let me do one thing, guys. Let me copy this playbook file completely, and let me create one more file now. Modified uh, lamp.yaml. Something. I'm modifying it actually. So let me paste it here. So what I will do that I am optimizing here. So I'll just remove all these stuffs actually. And then like what I will do here, I'll just call like this. What is it, sir? PHP underscore packages. See? So it means that whatever you are passing as a variable earlier, right? You can actually make that changes into your group underscore was. So under group underscore was, I have created a group. So here you could see that you are calling. So it means that when this playbook is getting executed, it will try to pick this PHP underscore packages from this file, from this app server. Similarly, depends here. If you are mentioning as all, it means that it will try to pick from both web server as well app server, right? Now there are cases. What happened? Like now the question comes that okay, Rajesh, this is fine. This is pretty good actually, and this is what the this is what I have written a playbook file for installing a lamp, right? So this is fine. Now assume that in my organization there are many more teams are there, which they are doing the same stuff. Even they are also trying to install a lamp stack in their environment or in their servers actually. So in that case, you will say that Rajesh, already this has been written. Like why the other team has to rewrite the playbook file again? Can you share this playbook file? Yes, you can share this playbook file. That's all. So it means that your code is now getting a reusable code for the other team also, right? So in that case, what will happen that what will happen that you are trying to give the code, right? You will try to give the entire playbook file to the other team. Now the other team will say that Rajesh, I'm installing the PHP packages, but I'm not trying to install all these packages, man. I might install only one or two only. I need only one or two only. I don't need this three. No problem. Go to your answer group underscore bash. There you can remove all these things, whichever you don't need it actually. Or else they would say that Rajesh, I'm installing the PHP package, but apart from that, there are many more other PHP related models are there which I'm installing. No problem. Go here and increase it. It depends upon your requirement. Here, in our example, we have shown you how we are installing a five packages PHP, right? So in that case, right, you can optimize it, you can do the changes, right, based on your requirement. So some other team will say that I need more than this, or some other team might say that I don't need all the things, I need only two things. We will say that go to the group underscore values and try to change it. That's all. So whichever you don't need, you just put a comment or you just remove those entries only. We will say that. Or else they know how to do that actually, because They are only optimizing based on their requirement, right? Or some other team might say that, Rajesh, I don't need this PHP package at all. I don't want to install it. I don't want this. I don't want this only. I don't want to install any other PHP. I want only the Apache to be installed. That's all. No other thing. But still, yes, this file or this playbook file will be used by that team also where they don't need. Or they might say that I don't need the PHP package at all. I want to install some other packages, right? So in that case, what you will do that even though you have given this playbook file, so what you will do that so it means that you have to satisfy all the requirement for all other teams also. So some team are having different requirements, some other team are having a different requirement. So your playbook file should be a kind of a generic playbook file which should get executed in any other team, right? Any other team try to execute this playbook file, they should be able to execute that without much modification or with little modification, right? So that's how, right? It means that your playbook file is becoming reusable more and more and more, right? So that no other team should able to rewrite the same code again. So in that case, in some cases, what happened that you will say that, Rajesh, in some team they don't need the PHP package at all. So what you will do, you'll go over here in the app server. Okay. Here you will say that is PHP required? Is yes, actually, like this. So it means that when all this package will get installed, when this condition is PHP required is yes, then only this package will get installed, right? So what you will do here, so you have this is a modification. Same thing I will try to do in the app server, right? The web server is PHP required is yes, something like this. Okay, this file. Now what happened? You come back here in your playbook file. What you will do? Write the condition here. You'll write the condition here when is PHP required is equal to yes, like this. So it means that when this condition is satisfied, then only install the PHP packages. Suppose some team say that actually, Rajesh, I don't need it actually. I don't want this. Then they can put as a no here actually. So it means that if they put no, what happens that none of the PHP package will get installed. So even their requirement also got satisfied. You have to just to change from yes to no. That's all. So this playbook will become very reusable, right? So what is our main agenda in day 70 is that actually we need to check, or we need to find how our playbook file will become more reusable across the organization. Across your organization means there might be many teams might be there, right? So you have to take care of writing a playbook file in such a way that but almost your playbook has to suffice everyone's need actually, so that all other teams, suppose assume that there are 50 teams are there who are writing the same, so why they have to write the playbook file again and again? It's a waste of the time, right? Already somebody has written a playbook file. Let's reuse, right? But when you are writing a playbook file, you should make sure that like your playbook will not be for some specific stuff. It should be generic one, like how we are doing now here, right? So in that case, what happened? That you should know what are the things which you have to add on, so that the other team can make use of your playbook file efficiently without much or without no without with very little modification or without any modification, they should be able to use that. That's what we call it as a reusable code, or you need to reuse the playbook file again and again. So that is our thought process, right? Now here what happens that yes, definitely this playbook file will run, and we are already satisfied here saying that if the playbook file is a Debian actually, then only this has to get executed, right? So can you write one more playbook file, guys, same for this one? So for exercise for you guys, people who are watching, exercise for you guys is that actually write the lamp write the lamp playbook for CentOS or Red Hat servers. It means that if the servers are Red Hat or CentOS, you need to write a playbook for lamp playbook file so that it will run. Or else you can take the same playbook file, modify in this file so that it will support both. Either it could be a Red Hat or CentOS, or it could be Ubuntu. This playbook file should be a generic playbook file. It should run across any kind of a Linux distribution. That also you can make sure. Right? So that's what, guys, you have to see that how you are making more and more generic. Now there is one more step ahead. Now there's one more step. What is that? You will say that, Rajesh, it is not only that my playbook file will be used across my organization. My playbook file should get used across the globe or across the world. Anybody can make use of my playbook file, right? And that is nothing but we that how you can achieve that, that you can achieve with the help of Ansible rules. So Ansible rules is nothing but it is a well structured way of organizing the playbook file so that it is a it is a structured way of organizing your playbook file so that it will be used across anyone in the globe in the world. So that's what, guys. So you could see that in the industry now, more and more people are actually writing Ansible rules, right? For the Ansible rules, right, you should actually know first how to write a playbook file. Then only you can convert a playbook file into the rule. So you said, Rajesh, can I learn directly Ansible rules? No, you cannot. It is not the way. First, you have to learn how to write a playbook file. Then only you can convert the whole playbook file into a rules actually. So Ansible rules for Ansible rules, you need to know how to write a playbook file. So all these days we have been seeing how to write a playbook file, how to write playbook file. So it is just a method of changing the playbook file into well organized well organized method in Ansible rules. Right? So that's how it, guys. Hold a second. So I can define. So now, what is roles actually? What is Ansible roles? So let me type something. Ansible roles. Uh, let's how I can say Ansible rules lets us automatically load variables, files, tasks, handlers, and uh, Ansible artifacts, artifacts based on a known folder or file structure. Okay? So we need to know what is a. So we need to understand what is the role directory structure. So guys, we have to understand. It means that, Rajesh, now you say that whatever we have written a lamp actually. So this is my lamp modified, or I will take this only, the previous one. This is my lamp actually, right? Can I convert all this lamp into roles through the help of a role structure and then try to try to run? Yes, you can do it actually. Now, the stuff is that actually that see Ansible. Why we have an Ansible roles? Because, like, for example, suppose today you have written this playbook file. You have written this lamp playbook file, right? Now you will say that, Rajesh, one of your close friend comes and he will ask you that, Rajesh, you have written a I know that you have written a lamp playbook file. Because I'm not expert in writing any playbook file. I'm not that much expert in writing a playbook file. But can I use your playbook file in my environment so that even I have to install the lamp and configure? Right. So I'm not good in writing a playbook file, but yes, I know how to execute it. I know how to run a playbook file and all that I know. But how it works, how we can write that, I'm not very well. I'm not sure. So can I reuse it? Okay, I will say you can reuse, man. No problem. I'll say you can use it. So what I will do that I will give this playbook file to him, right? And I will tell him to run this playbook file, right? Now the stuff is, guys, actually what I will do here, what in this case what I will do here, I will try to zip this file again, or else I'll try to directly file, I'll try I'll place this file in some FTP server, and I will tell him to try to download that file from the FTP server. So what that fellow will do, my friend, he will do, he will go to this server, maybe he will go to some slash partition here, something like this, and here he will try to place that file. Okay, under this path he will try to play this, he will try to give this playbook file. Now the stuff is that actually, since I'm using a lot of variables, and maybe I have defined all these variable in some host file, or else in some group vars and host vars, I would have given all these variables under that. So in that case, what happened, guys? It will not work because I have not shared the host file in the and the group vars in the host vars, right? Suppose assume that there are no changes into the host file. Assume that there are changes into the var files, or else assume that I have written a variable file itself like this. Like if you see that I have written under the slash var itself, I have given some var.yaml file. So this is what I have written, and this is what I'll be using in my lamp.pl. So this is what I'll be using in my lamp.pl. It means that I have defined some variables here itself under my var, right? You could see that under my var. So like this, under my var, this is the directory. Sorry, my var, my variable. Sorry, and again under that, I have given this variable file. So maybe this is a variable which you have provided to be used by your lamp. So there what happened, right? You have to even make sure this my var, under that my var, that var.yaml, right? Even you have to even give this file also to a friend along with the lamp.yml. You have to even give this file also, because this file is used within your playbook file, right? And what happened if you give it? Now what happened according to this var.yaml file, guys, this is there under the slash my variable directory. Oh, it means that you have to place this file under this path only, right? And then like you have to even educate to your friend that, man, like I'm giving this all these files to you, but you have to, there is some constraints are there. What are those constraints? Oh, you have to go to this path slash partition, there you have to go, and there you have to create this my variable, and the slash var.yaml file, you have to place it over there, right? So there are some constraints are there, guys, which you have to tell to your friends. Suppose he is not aware of all these things, he will directly take whatever you have given and he will run that playbook file. Definitely that playbook file will fail because it will not get executed, because you are having some constraints. It means that you have having some prerequisite requirement within your playbook file, which for which I actually even you have to educate to your friend also. So what happened, right? This will become a tedious task actually, because you have to educate him again and again. You have to tell what are the changes you have to do in your environment to make sure that my playbook file run in your environment comfortably. So that doesn't really work out, right? It means that you cannot educate everything. This is a very simple task which I'm doing it. Assume that we are doing very complex task where we have written a playbook file, something 500, 600 line of code, and we are using a number of variable files in a different location based on our requirement, right? So in that case what happened, that you have to give all those files and everything, you have to make him educate, and you have to see that if he's getting an error, right, you have to go and fix it over there, and you have to give him solution how to how this issue can be fixed, or how that error can be fixed, right? So that is very tedious and the cumbersome task actually, you cannot do it actually. So that this will never work out in the real time activity, in the real time, right? So what you have to do basically, so in that case what you will do, that Rajesh, let's do one thing. Whatever the playbook file which you have written, I'm not really bothered what are the variables you have implemented, or whatever the parameter which you are passing through the host file or to the group vars or the host vars. I'm not bothered. You have to give me the complete structure of the file, the whole folder you have to give me, so that I will take that whole folder, place it somewhere else in my systems, in my local file system, somewhere within my Ansible server, and just